In this segment, we're going to look at the two heavy hitters of the first-person shooter market, Modern Warfare 3 versus Battlefield 3. Both titles dropped in 2011, dug in with their respective fans, and are still going strong. Modern Warfare 3 with its elite service and seasonal content drops, and Battlefield 3 with its fine-tuning of the Frostbite 2.0 engine, Karkan expansion, and upcoming Close Quarters DLC. We sat down with a few of our own shooters and asked them about the state of Modern Warfare 3 versus Battlefield 3. Question 1. These titles both dropped last year. Is there still a good player population?
There is no problem finding a match in Modern Warfare 3 if you're going online looking for some action. There's plenty of people out there. It doesn't matter whether it's 4 in the morning or 12 in the afternoon.
Now that I'm onto the new maps, the elite maps, it kind of groups a smaller population, because if you want to play those maps, you can only play with players who have downloaded those maps.
The only time that I've had problems is if I'm with like 5 or 6 friends, then it's harder to, it takes a little bit longer to get a match with another like 5 or 6 people.
So Battlefield dropped in October of 2011, and as of now, in April, there's still a pretty large player population. Hardcore servers aren't quite as common depending on time of day.
So yeah, if you join, Battlefield servers at, I guess, somewhat decent hour, it's usually pretty full.
That being said, there's no way for you to know if a match is ending right before you get into it, which is a problem. So, DICE, don't let me get into matches right before they end. It's no fun to wait for another 5 minutes to get into my next round.
Question 2. What weapons dominate?
Right off the bat, for a while, Type 95, that was a gun that seemed to kind of be doing a lot of business for people. As far as, anything that's like overpowered, Scorpions, Akimbo.
Dual FNG or the Akimbo FNGs have actually been nerfed like I think twice now, but they're still like really good. But some of the guns I mentioned are kind of like more predominantly used type guns, I guess. So I see those more often, like again the ACR, MP7, Striker.
The weapons that I think are pretty dominant are the Akimbo weapons, or there's a shotgun. I'm not sure which shotgun it is, but anybody with a good aim with those two weapons, it's pretty good possibility that you're not going to win that.
Out of all the weapons in Battlefield 3, I kind of think the USAS is a little bit overpowered. That thing's just thing's a cannon.
Prior to the patch, I found that the USAS 12 automatic shotgun with frag rounds was pretty severely easy to use and take out a lot of guys with. And it was also true of the FAMAS assault rifle with certain attachments. Post-patch, I took the USAS out for a little spin and found that the slower rate of fire and what seemed like additional recoil made it very difficult to take somebody out in one go. In fact, multiple times I unloaded an entire clip and still didn't kill anybody.
The other one is maybe the FAMAS, which I have played with quite a bit. It has extremely high fire rate, but I think it's balanced out by the fact that it has a long reload time, and usually you will die while you're reloading with that weapon. Whereas something like the F2000 has a slightly lower fire rate and a faster reload time. So you still get the kills, and then you get the reload, and then you get more kills.
Question 3. What's competition like with the top level players?
It's interesting because Modern Warfare 3 for top level players has a lot of options, and I think that's probably one of the attractions that I still have today for that game is, whether it's the kill streaks or whether it's, some of the fun little, perks that basically you get going. There's just a lot going on. That game, has got a lot, moving in a lot of different directions, and so it helps kind of keep that freshness to each and every match when you're kind of running through there and doing stuff. It's like you'll still see, some of the same guys doing some of the same stuff in the same places on some of the maps, but there's so much variety in the way you can kind of handle things.
High level play, it's not, I shouldn't say it's rare. It's harder because I think right now they don't have like a LAN component, which is what's really stopped Modern Warfare 3 in actually being in the esports scene, is because they don't have that feature and it makes it a lot harder. But from the little amount that I've seen of like online stuff, it's pretty competitive if at the very highest level. People are very accurate and they know spots.
The top level players in Battlefield 3 are the people who you see in the helicopters and tanks. Those crews are pretty well unstoppable. Unless you yourself have a crew that can take them on, as an individual player, you stand no chance. So if you get into a match with one of those helicopter crews, your only thing that you can really do is try and ignore them and play a different game on the field than what they're playing, because if you take them on, you'll just die. And you can't shoot them down, you just can't. They have 2x flares or ECM, they can go below radar, you just have no shot at taking them out.
I tend to think that on the ground, the game is balanced enough that even a slightly coordinated team can be competitive. But once you add to that squads that are so well coordinated that they can coordinate air battle, helicopter pilots that are really good or borderline unstoppable, tank crew that knows exactly what they're doing, can keep their armor alive for an entire match and never stop killing. It's very hard to compete against.
Question 4. Are you happy with the content drops?
I am very happy about the maps and Spec Ops missions that they have released since launch. I think it's a little confusing, to be honest, how they've done it. You know, it seems pretty straightforward. You know, you're an elite subscriber and you get to download that stuff, and that comes through that way, which is all great and good. But the timing between, like, you know, if you're an elite subscriber, if you're on Xbox, if you're on PlayStation 3. Let alone PC, it's like, you know, it's like there's different content drop dates for a lot of this stuff.
I believe they're dropping new content like once or for 10 months straight, I think it is. I think for the next content drop, I think they list what it is on their site, but for the other content drops later on down the line, it's kind of up in the air.
I've been pretty happy with what they had. Infected is actually a pretty fun game. Kill Confirm was actually really cool too for a while. It's kind of lost its potential, or I mean, it's lost kind of some of the fun that it used to have, because I think it's just gotten old and everyone played a lot of it.
I'd say the content drop has been pretty awesome, especially that one Spec Ops mission they got in there, which is you're basically starting out as a hostage, and you've got to basically grab a gun from one of your captors and help free the other hostages, and it just really comes off on this really long, fast, awesome action movie sequence that yeah, you kind of have to see and try to understand, and it's awesome.
I was a big fan of Battlefield 2, so having the 3 Battlefield 2 maps was totally exciting to me. It was like visiting an old friend, but with updated graphics. As far as the upcoming release is concerned, I think it remains to be seen whether the Close Quarters pack is going to be really that playable.
I really did like the Back to Karkan maps. I think they added a degree of freshness to the game. My main disappointment with the DLC is that they still haven't implemented a jet training level or a helicopter training level, which I think is kind of a travesty because they are very hard to master. And also, I don't think there are enough jets and helicopters. I think that for a player to want to learn to fly is a very painful experience.
The Karkan maps, you know, that was a nice addition to the Battlefield 3 map rotation. I had a lot of fun with those maps. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the close quarters expansion. Russian conquest, you have to be a little bit meticulous, and it'd be nice to run and gun every once in a while.
Last question. Would you recommend Modern Warfare 3 or Battlefield 3 to a new player?
If I had to say why Modern Warfare 3 ultimately, in my opinion, was better than Battlefield 3 in terms of the actual multiplayer experience, for me, you know, there are just more things that I find cooler about Modern Warfare 3. Whether it's you know, a lot of the perks and a lot of the, you know, little extras that you get. You know, dropping a SAM turret, that's cool. You know, drop in, you know, a lot of those specialty items that you just simply don't have in Battlefield 3. Those things, and really the pace at which Modern Warfare 3 moves, to me feels more like, you know, I would say the, you know, the Michael Bay action, you know, version of war versus maybe the Ridley Scott or Tony Scott version of war, which is Battlefield 3.
I would definitely urge to purchase Battlefield. The graphics and gameplay are very impressive. The game itself offers you an experience of tactical warfare that Call of Duty just doesn't have. Call of Duty's become sort of a parody of itself at this point.
If I were to recommend a game, I'd recommend Modern Warfare 3, and it's probably because if you played one game, you played them all, so there is some familiarity there. I guess it's easier to pick up.
I like Modern Warfare 3 more because the maps generally are smaller. It's easier to engage yourself into action. It plays faster. Also the guns, they aren't as realistic in terms of recoil, which makes it kind of easier just to shoot, and you know, if you hold it down, it doesn't like kick up like crazy, so it's funner for me. It's also kind of, I played a lot of Counter-Strike before, and it kind of has a similar feel in that it's small teams with, you know, smaller objectives, so it's funner when you play with your friends. You don't have to run around as much to find people, whereas in Battlefield I've ran half the map and not found anyone before, which is very frustrating.
I would tell them to play Battlefield 3 if they are a strategic-minded person, because Battlefield 3 is a game of chess. It's rock, paper, scissors. It's, you know, sniper, mortar tube, assault class, or it's, you know, tank, helicopter, infantry guy with surface-to-air missile. And once you learn the chess match, it is totally enjoyable.